If you took the next 4 weeks off tomorrow, would your business keep moving without you, or would everything slowly grind to a halt until you came back? If the honest answer is grind to a halt, then you haven't built yourself a scalable business yet. You've built yourself another job. And if you're a consultant, coach, or service-based business owner doing between 5 and 20K a month, then there's probably a good chance you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because like the founders that we work with, you've become incredibly good at solving problems. A client needs something, you're there. A sales call runs over, no problem. Another referral comes in. You somehow squeeze one more meeting into an already full calendar. And from the outside, that looks like commitment, leadership, really high standards. But underneath, you've quietly become the bottleneck. And your inquiry lands, and instead of getting excited, your first thought is, where am I supposed to fit this in? And then there's those late nights. The laptop's closed, you're lying in bed, counting the cash flow in your head, and a question creeps in that you would never admit to any other business colleague. Can I actually keep doing this? You didn't leave employment and spend years becoming exceptional at what you do just to build yourself another job, one with worse boundaries where every important client, every sale, and every big decision still comes back to you. Most founders get told the answer is more leads, but after working with hundreds of expertise-led businesses, I've become convinced that that's usually the wrong diagnosis. Because adding more leads to a business that's already stretched doesn't create freedom, it creates pressure. And growth should create freedom. It should create more revenue, less hustle, and more life. And over the next few minutes, Yoda and I are going to show you what the businesses that break through actually do differently. Because they aren't the ones with the cleverest marketing. They're the ones that stop depending on the founder for everything. And there's a name for it. It's called Founder Dependency. Once you see it, you will start spotting it everywhere. Founders who can't switch off, who look successful from the outside, yet quietly wonder whether they've just built a more expensive version of the job that they left. I didn't discover this from a business book. I discovered it by building it myself twice. Let me introduce you to a few people. Dan loved her work, but every new client meant another piece of her calendar disappeared. We rebuilt the business around leverage instead of her availability, and she started creating digital courses and group programs. When she had her baby, the business kept running. Nat was fully booked as a hypnotherapist, and demand wasn't the issue, but dependency was. She packaged her expertise into a training program, and her first intake brought in 8 new students without having to deliver 8 separate sessions. Steve had decades of executive experience, but every dollar still required another day delivering workshops. So we turned his expertise into a digital program, and his first sale generated $11,000. Different industries, different businesses, but exactly the same breakthrough. And they stopped building businesses that depended on them. You see, after leaving corporate, I had a total breakdown. I lost everything. I was driving Uber while rebuilding my business. And eventually things started working. I built a coaching business helping gym owners, and it grew to around $100,000 a year. And from the outside, it looked like success. But to be honest, success had lied to me. The revenue told me that it was working, but my calendar told me a completely different story. Clients didn't just want coaching anymore. They wanted me inside their business. Can you train the sales team? Can you review this operations manual? Can you just quickly help me fix this one thing? And because I genuinely cared, I kept saying yes. Until one day I caught myself thinking, this feels awfully familiar. You see, I wasn't working for a boss anymore, but I was trapped by my clients' calendars instead. And I had become the bottleneck, disguised as a really generous coach. And that's the dangerous thing about founder dependency. It doesn't arrive looking like a problem. It hides behind things that sound like strengths. Being available, having high standards, always putting clients first. So I pivoted and I started coaching coaches. Business grew, calendar filled again, and I had 15 to 20 one-on-one clients every single week, but I hit the same ceiling. I wasn't burnt out because I wasn't working hard enough. I was burnt out because the business only worked while I was delivering. And that's when everything changed. I stopped asking, how do I get more clients? And I started asking, what has to exist in this business so it doesn't need me for everything? And that question changed everything, because the problem was never effort, it was the model. If a business only works while the founder is standing in the middle of it, then growth isn't going to buy you freedom, it's just going to buy you a bigger cage. Here's what frustrates me the most about our industry. Every time an established business owner hits a plateau, the advice is always do more. You need more leads, more content, more ads, build another funnel. And none of these things are bad in the right business. Don't get me wrong. At the right time, they do work. but they're rarely the reason that an established business, an established founder gets stuck. Imagine you've got a bucket full of holes and someone hands you another hose. More water, same holes, bigger mess. And that's exactly what happens when you pour more marketing into a business that still depends on the founder. More inquiries, more sales calls, more late nights, not more freedom. You see, marketing gets blamed for a problem that it really never had the power to solve. Most established founders don't have a marketing problem, but they have a business design problem. Is it their offer, their systems? Working harder rarely fixes it because you're pouring more effort into something that was never designed to scale. And the founders who break through aren't the ones who hustle harder, they're the ones who redesign the business so it no longer depends on them. Here's what I believe. Expertise-led business owners deserve better. I don't believe the reward for becoming exceptional at what you do should be becoming indispensable to everything your business does. A business that only works while you're standing in it isn't really a business. It's just a very well-paid job with your name on the lease. And if that stings a little bit, then good, because it's not a criticism, but it is an invitation. You've already earned the expertise. You shouldn't have to earn your freedom back from the business that you built to create it. You stop being the busiest person in the business. You stop being the glue that's holding everything together. You become the architect. And over the years, I've realized that every founder dependency problem shows up in one of three places. This is what became the level up method: productize, systemize, scale. When you're productizing, most experts think that they're selling their time, but they're not. They're selling certainty. And your job is to take what's trapped inside you and turn it into an offer that your business can deliver consistently, not just when you're in the room. And that's the shift that Nat made. Then there's systemize. Even with a great offer, many founders still run the business like freelancers. Sales, marketing, follow-up, everything depends on them. Systemize means building the infrastructure that keeps working while you're busy. That's the shift that Steve made. The business became easier to buy from, not because he worked harder. And then scale. You see, most founders think this is where they should start, but it's actually where they should finish. Scale isn't about becoming busier, but it's about moving from operator to architect. That's the shift that Den made. And then when she stepped away to have her baby, the business didn't stop because it had stopped depending on her. You see, here's where most founders get stuck. They try to scale before they've productized, or market before they've systemized. It's like building the second story to a house before you poured the slab. When all three come together, the question changes from how much more can the founder do to how much bigger can the business become. And that's a completely different business because it needs you less. So where do you fit? Almost every founder that we work with is held back by one primary constraint. See which one sounds the most like you. The first founder is absolutely brilliant at what they do. Clients love working with them, but every new client still buys their time, their calendar, their availability. And if that's you, then your next move is productize. The second founder already has a really great offer. People buy when they meet them. But growth really feels unpredictable. Sales rely on your energy, follow-ups rely on your memory. And if that's you, then your next move is systems. The third founder looks successful from the outside. Revenue's healthy, the team's growing, but every decision still lands on their desk. You see, they've become the operating system of the business. And if that's you, then your next move is scale. Almost nobody needs to fix all three today. You only need to remove one of the biggest constraints, because that's the one that will get you moving faster. So you might be thinking it makes sense, but my business is different. And that's fair. But underneath it all, the mechanics are remarkably similar. Whatever expertise-led business you run, the ceiling almost always comes from the same place, the founder. You see, Alison wanted consistency, not explosive growth. And once we redesigned her business around leverage instead of effort, she landed an $87,000 engagement working just 1 day a week. Another question I hear a lot: does this mean I have to stop doing one-on-one work? And no, not at all. Many of our clients still coach, still consult, still work closely with the people they serve. But the difference is it's now a choice, not the only way the business creates value. Because founders rarely need more information. What they really need is clarity. It's not another list of 10 things to fix. It's just the one constraint creating the biggest drag on the business. Find that, and everything else becomes so much easier. So if you've watched this so far, I'm guessing you're not looking for another marketing tactic or quick hack, another AI prompt, another sales script. You're looking for clarity because you already know your business has a constraint. The question is, which one? Is your expertise still trapped inside your calendar? Have your systems failed to keep up with the business that you've built? Or has your business quietly become way too dependent on you? And that's exactly why we created the Scale Blueprint session. This isn't a sales pitch disguised as a strategy session. It's a working diagnostic, and together we'll identify which part of the level up method is creating the biggest drag on your business. Then we'll map out over the next 90 days, not 50 ideas, but one clear priority, one practical plan. Now, if at the end of that conversation we both believe that Accelerator is the right fit for you, I'll show you exactly how we can help you install the level up method through coaching, systems, accountability, and community. And if we don't, then that's completely okay. You'll still leave with clarity around the one constraint that's limiting your growth and the next move I'd make if this was my business. And that's yours either way. Now, this isn't for everybody. If you're still trying to validate your offer, you're simply too early. If you genuinely love being involved in every single client decision, every detail, then that's okay too. But if you've built a real business, your clients get results, and you're tired of being the person that absolutely everyone depends on, I think you'll get a huge amount from this conversation. We only run a limited number of scale sessions each month, not because of fake scarcity, but because we personally deliver them, Sarah and I. And we deliberately keep Accelerator small enough that every founder gets real attention because we want to help you succeed. So if that sounds like the business that you want to build, then click the button around this video somewhere, choose a time, answer a few questions, and we'll jump on Zoom. Let's find that bottleneck. Now, before you book, I do want you to picture that ordinary Tuesday morning, not 5 years from now, but just a little way into the future. You make a coffee, you open your laptop, and something feels different. There's no knot in your stomach. There's no voice saying, if I stop, does this stop? Can I actually take a holiday? Because the business is doing exactly what you built it to do. Not because you're holding it together, but because you built something that can stand on its own. You take that holiday, you leave your phone in the hotel room, a referral comes in, and instead of wondering where you'll squeeze them into your week, you smile. That's what more revenue, less hustle, and more life really means. So if you're ready to stop building a business that needs you for everything and start building one that's more valuable because it doesn't, then book that scale session. Let's identify the one constraint that's holding you back and build a business that's finally worthy of the life that you started to create. We'll see you on the call.